I can finally tell you what SP4 is. If you've been around the channel before, you know that I have been vlogging the writing and editing process of what will be my 4th published novel, which I've been calling SP4 because I write under the name Sam Parks. Hi, I'm Sam, by the way. And it will be my 4th book. But I have officially revealed the book on my TikTok and Instagram, and I wanted to wait to do it on YouTube until I could film a proper video to tell you a little bit more about it. So that's what I'm doing now. Let's talk about my new book, which is called Date Night. I'm so excited. First of all, I'm obsessed with this cover. This cover is the greatest thing that's ever happened to me. I love it so much. It's by the incredibly talented Chloe Quinn. So let me tell you a little bit about Date Night. This is Phil and Amy on the cover. If you have read my 3rd book, You've Got Chainmail, then you know Phil and Amy, because Amy is Jack's little sister and Phil is Jack's best friend. So yes, this is a brother's best friend romance. It takes place obviously in the same world as You've Got Chainmail. However, it's important to me that you know that these function as standalones. That was very important to us when we were setting everything up. They are interconnected standalones, and certainly if you've read You've Got Chainmail, there will be things that you can appreciate more in Date Night, but you do not need to have read You've Got Chainmail to appreciate Date Night. So let's talk about what it's about. Let me read you the official blurb. So this is Date Night, 2nd book in the Roll for Romance series. The blurb is, a side quest he never saw coming. And I'm going to look this way because I've got it pulled up over here. Phil Owen has it all figured out, or rather his character in his weekly role-playing game does. In real life, not so much. When his best friend's sister, Amy Evans, returned home brokenhearted 6 months ago, inviting her to join the game seemed like the kind thing to do. But now all it's done is given her another way to drive him crazy in more ways than one. Yet when an unwelcome character from Amy's past turns up in her present, Phil gets to play the hero in real life. His quest? 3 months as Amy's fake boyfriend and a chance to turn fantasy into reality. So this is a brother's best friend fake dating romance. You guys loved Phil and Amy when you read You've Got Chainmail. I got so many comments in person and online of people saying, please tell me that Phil and Amy are getting a book, because the banter, the chemistry, it was obvious from the beginning. The second that they were on page together, I was like, yeah, this is a thing. And it was their story that helped me sell my publisher on the idea of doing more Roll for Romance books. And yes, I said books because there will be another one, but I'll tell you about that at the end. So similar to You've Got Chainmail, Date Night follows this sort of group of friends that play Dungeons and Dragons together. And also like You've Got Chainmail, Date Night has interspersed throughout interlude chapters, is what I've called them during the editing process, but they're basically scenes from the D&D campaign written out as fantasy. So Phil plays a bard called Yorick, and Amy plays a druid called Eden, and the two of them are with this adventuring party dealing with this mission that of course our characters Phil and Amy are having to deal with because they're playing those characters, but also we get to see what's happening within the game. It's not a lot of the book, but it's a fun additional channel to see the way that these two are interacting and the way that their relationship changes and the way that how they think about each other evolves. The general premise of the book, to go a little bit more in depth but without giving any spoilers, is that Amy has just joined this D&D game, very much trying to integrate with her older brother's friend group after she moved home because she got cheated on by her boyfriend and her best friend together. And so she's come home brokenhearted, annoyed, angry, tail between her legs, and she's trying to kind of rebuild her life. She's always had a thing for Phil, and they did have a near miss years ago, but they're very much just friend vibes, a bit antagonistic. Phil has been kind of going through it as well because he is a full-time carer for his nan who has dementia. This was established during You've Got Chainmail, so if you've read that, this is not a surprise. Because we don't talk about it in the blurb for Date Night, I've put an author's note into the book at the beginning just so that people know what they're getting into. Ethel is very much at the early to mid stages of dementia. She's not quite tipped over into mid stages yet, so it's still very lighthearted. She pretty much is lucid a lot of the time. She's just changing and her cognition is noticeably changing. And I say that because I know that there have been some other books that have come out recently that involve side characters with dementia or main characters who are carers for people with dementia, and they can be a little bit heavy, and this book is not like that. It obviously is a big part of Phil's story and his character, and I like to think that it gets a bit emotional at times, but I like to think it's a little bit more lighthearted still than other recent titles that have included that sort of storyline. So when Amy's ex-boyfriend comes to town with some news, Phil pretends to be her boyfriend just to help her get through that interaction. And this sort of pretending kind of unlocks a few things in their life that they say, you know what, let's maybe keep the ruse up for a little while to benefit both of us. They go to a fantasy festival, sort of like a Ren Fair in the book, which actually is based on Fantasy Forest, which I am going to next month, and I'm so excited. I'm actually going to be doing a signing there, so if you are going to be at Fantasy Forest, please make sure you come see me. I'll be at the Dryad Book stand. I'll share more information when I know exactly which day and which time, but I'm so excited about that. They go there in this book. They also go to a fantasy-style ball, and I mean this, the real-life characters do this. There is a ball in the D&D stuff as well, but it's a very different context. So there's lots of fun kind of nerdery and fantasy stuff, but it's still very much about the romance between the two of them. I love each of my books for different reasons. I think this might be my favorite one that I've written so far. I think that Phil in particular is a character that's very close to my heart, not only because of who he is as a person, but also because of some of the things that he is experiencing within this story. I think Amy has been one of the most fun characters to write ever. She's very typical Aries, opinionated, competitive, but ultimately just a really feeling and considerate person. And writing her was so much fun. She's really into like tarot and astrology and crystals. And so I got to dip my toes into that because that's not something that I had a ton of experience with. And since then, I've become a little bit obsessed myself. It's just been the most fun to write. So that is Date Night. It's out on the 31st of July, which is also my birthday. And it is available for pre-order now. I will leave a link in the description. This is going to be my usual petition for you to please order from an indie if you can. One of the links that'll be on the page that I'll send you to in the link below is to bookshop.org. I actually don't know if bookshop.org is available internationally. It's certainly for the UK. You can actually choose an indie bookshop to benefit when you shop at bookshop.org. So I have it connected to my local indie, and it means that they're getting kind of a cut, I think is how it works, of anything that I buy. So even if you don't live somewhere where you have a good indie bookshop, please try your best not to use Amazon, but obviously I would love for you to read the book, to do what you gotta do. It will be available on Kindle. There will be an audiobook, and I actually just got fantastic audiobook casting news this morning. My top choice has been cast for the role of Phil. I'm so excited. I don't know yet who Amy is gonna be, but it's gonna be great. Honestly, every audition they sent me was perfect, so it's gonna be good no matter how you slice it. The physical paperback is there's not gonna be a hardback, straight to paperback. The paperback is, I think, 383 pages of story. There's front matter and back matter as well, but the actual story, 383 pages. I don't yet know how long the audiobook will be, but it's going to be similar in length to You've Got Chainmail, which I want to say was like 12 hours. And all of those formats will be out on the 31st of July. The best thing that you can do to help me if you want to support the book is to pre-order it. You can also request it at your library. It will be going on NetGalley, but it's going to be a really, really quick turnaround on advanced reviews, so I don't know how picky they're going to be with who they're selecting. I'll post on my Instagram probably when it's available on NetGalley, so make sure you follow me there if you want to see when that happens. I did just want to quickly go through a few questions that I had about the book when I did an Instagram Q&A after I revealed the cover. So let's go through that. First of all, who is the publisher? It is One More Chapter, which is a division of HarperCollins UK. I'm in very good company. I think probably their most popular titles of the last couple years have been the Pumpkin Spice Cafe and Cinnamon Bun Book, the Dream Harbor books. But honestly, they publish so many incredible titles. All of my books have been published by them, and I love being part of the One More Chapter family. How long it was, which I said, I think it's 383 pages. How spicy is it? So if you've read You've Got Chainmail, similar, except slightly fewer spicy scenes. I think there's 3 explicit scenes in the book. And I was told the other day by the owner of my local indie bookshop that she thinks that they're very well integrated, intentional spicy scenes. They're not gratuitous. Do what you want with that feedback. I got a question about who the cover designer is, which I've said is Chloe Quinn. She's incredible, truly incredible. Like, you look at her portfolio, she's so talented. It's very good. I'm very excited. And then finally, will there be more books in this series? Yes, there will be one more book in this series, and that will follow Chloe. So if you've read You've Got Chainmail, you know that Jack, Phil, and Chloe are 3 best friends. And the first book followed Jack and Morgan. Second book is following Phil and Amy. And the third book is going to follow Chloe and a new person that has not been introduced in You've Got Chainmail or Date Night, but you will meet in that third book, which is going to be called Mead Cute. I'm really proud of that one. We don't have a cover or release date for it yet, but it will be next year and probably a little bit earlier in the year, maybe late spring, early summer. I'm not sure yet, but obviously you'll know when I know. That one is going to be a sapphic rivals to lovers rom-com. Again, following the same format in terms of the D&D inclusions. You'll have a bit of spice. And as of filming this, I am a decent ways through the first draft and I am really enjoying it and I can't wait. Chloe and her paramour, but I don't have a ton more information about that. As for Date Night, like I said, I'll leave a link in the description to where you can find more information and pre-order it. Please, 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 please. If you're buying books right now, I would love for you to pre-order mine. It makes a really big difference to how well the book does. And if you have any other questions about it, please let me know in the comments. I am going to try to vlog everything to do with it coming out. Like I said, I'm doing a signing at Fantasy Forest July, coming out at the end of July, and I'll have my book launch party. I'm also doing a big signing in Glasgow in the autumn, which I'll share more about, which again, I've announced on my Instagram, so go follow me there if you want that kind of information. And if there's any other events that you want to see me at, let me know, because I have only started dipping my toe into the world of like signings and bookish events, and I love it. So please let me know where you want to see me, and let me know if you have any questions about Date Night. Thank you so much for all of your support on the journey. There's a little note to you in the acknowledgements because having this community and this encouragement and this accountability makes such a big difference to me in my writing journey. And your support, the kind comments that you leave, the questions that you ask, even just watching my videos, it means the world to me. And I want to keep writing fun books for you, books that you love. So let me know how you're getting on with it. Let me know what you think. And by Date Night, thank you for being here. Thank you so much for watching and happy reading. I'll see you next time.